Well, blessed afternoon, Prince folks. Today is August 20th, 2022, and I did all my lessons but this one. Wanted to save this for last. This has been the main one that I've been going to post on YouTube and Facebook. So here we go, right off the bat. This is the persecuted. We have a scripture from Psalm 9, 13 through 14. O Lord, see how my enemies persecute me. Have mercy and lift me up from the gates of death, that I may declare your praises in the gates of the daughter of Zion, and there rejoice in your salvation. And we have a quote from Amish Bishop. Prosperity has often been fatal to Christians, but persecutions never. In word, the book of Hebrews tells of Old Testament heroes who were persecuted, stoned, sawn in two, put to death by the sword, destitute, and mistreated. They suffered such things because they were looking ahead to a resurrection, a new kingdom, a city built by God. They know where their true lives were invested, and they refuse to hang on to the pleasures of this world. Why? Because the pleasures of this world are superficial and short-lived. The kingdom is deep and eternal. You can always tell the difference between a believer who has planted his feet in this world and one who has planted them in the kingdom. Though all believers live in both worlds at once, we choose daily which one we will invest in. Those who invest in things of this world are shaken when the world is shaken. Those who invest in kingdom endeavors can persevere through anything. Remember, love suffers long and endures everything. They lose nothing when stock markets fall, when wars threaten lives, when terrorists rampage, or when treasures prove transient. Their lives are not based on shifting sands, but on eternal streets. They know where they're headed. My pastor always says to keep your eyes on the kingdom of heaven. Indeed, the conclusion. Persecution, perhaps more than any other event, reveals how eventually focused a believer is. We never seek it, of course, but when it comes, our faith is purified. We find out where we stand and what our hearts treasure. We discover whether we have been living an eternal vision or tolerating a temporary lie. Do you know where you would fix your gaze if you were persecuted? Would suffering shatter your dreams or cause you to embrace them more deeply? Your answer will indicate where you staked your life. Answer with an eye on forever instead of an eye for an eye. Now, in the case of me, when I have been persecuted, I was challenged. Now, I know big and strong and I could grab someone. I'm always saying that I could throw a full 8 feet across the room. But do I really want to do that? No. I may feel like that sometimes, but am I really going to do that? No. Only if my baby's lives are threatened, my mother-in-law's life is threatened, or my own. Or someone that I know is really tied into God. If I seen them, I would try to pretty much turn into an ended Rambo and try to save the day. Try to save them. But, as far as me being persecuted, I have faced it, of course, and I usually came out to the point to where the Lord was reflected, but sometimes it wasn't at first. And that's where my wife's teaching me to be humble comes into play. And my wife's saying, don't say I'm sorry, but say forgive me. Ask for forgiveness. It's totally different. It diffuses any kind of hatred or what's going on. And if it doesn't diffuse it, it makes that person go away. Because do they really want to do what they say they're going to do? To kill you and this and that. It's usually just demons breathing fire on them and to mix in with your spirit in the tablet of their heart. So they persecute you. Well, if you go to church and you're a believer, that ain't what I want to do, But, you got to look at the best in people. Don't look at the worst. And I think one of the greatest lessons that I have learned is that mercy triumphs over judgment. It is better to obey than the sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So I'm merging all this together so that I become a better servant to the Most High God that rescued me January 5th, 2008. And took well, hey, how went it not home? My goal is to make it home to the Lord and then have Him take me to her. And that's it. I can go through any persecution knowing that my eyes are on the kingdom of heaven. So that's where our challenge needs to be, is our eyes on the kingdom of heaven, because we can have on earth what we have in heaven, and what we have there is a triumph. What we have is walking the writ road of gold. Gold is so not worth what it is here on earth that up there it makes the streets. So let that be in your mind, your heart, your soul, and your strength. Keep on keeping on, especially when persecution comes.